Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday, and New York City Comic Con's going on, and I think there's a horror convention going on the East Coast, stuff like that. But those aren't important because, you know, they aren't. Excuse me while I have a little bit of tea there. As long, that's what you think it is anyway. So that's the important thing. So I'm gonna do a couple of the lighter stories or the less important stories until a couple more people trickle in. Actually, let me take care of some business first while I'm at it. Like I said, it's the morning, and it's Saturday morning. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about this, at the very end of the video, there's gonna be a video that pops up here that is plucked directly out of my video library, directly for you. There, you can take a look at it. If you like it, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'm gonna be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below here. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com, see my schedule up there. I change it every Monday. I also mirror that over on my Facebook page as well. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. I will by the end of the year because I don't have any content yet for that. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. So let's see. Hey, we got a couple people coming in there. Hey, Penn. He's at work usually on Saturdays. And that's what normally happens. So May 19th, 2020, we're getting a new book from Suzanne Collins. If that name sounds familiar, it's because she's the one who wrote the Hunger Games trilogy. This is going to be called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is what this book is all about. And yes, it's in the Hunger Games universe, which is set during the 10th Hunger Games, which is 64 years before the original trilogy. And what this is supposed to do is showing that after the Great War, all that was being slowly put back into place, and all the hardship and stuff like that. So that is being released on May 19th, 2020, for those of you that are interested in that. That's an option for. I know there's a lot of people out there that are still big fans of the book. The books I read the books actually, and I'm not ashamed to say it. They were okay. I mean, the last book kind of ran on a little bit, but hey, so did the movies too. But that's what's going on. Morning, Stanley. Ah, and here was a good one that just popped up from New York City Comic Con. So, The Walking Dead is shambling on to its 10th season. Of course, that's premiering tomorrow, which of course I'm not covering. But it's already been renewed for a season 11. And who's coming back? But Maggie. That's right. Cohen is coming back to reprise her role as Maggie because what is that, Whiskey Cavalier? The comedy that she had left in order to go and film over at ABC crashed and burned. So she's coming back to Walking Dead. For those -3 of you that actually still watch the show. So, yeah. Ah. So you've read the book, Viking Bitch? Yeah. It's I'm interested to see where they're going with it, but of course they're going to so going back to the Suzanne Collins book, they are going to actually, option that as a movie, of course. And they're looking at another trilogy that they want to do, of course, because don't do a movie without a trilogy now, obviously. Has Colby Smolder's new show. It's kind of funny. Colby Smolder's show is actually based on a comic. And I haven't bothered to watch it, but from what I understand, it's actually holding numbers. It was the night that it's on. So Deadline, it's either Deadline or Variety. I think it's Deadline that actually publishes numbers as to what won for each night. and it's been coming in like second in its night. So because there's nothing else on, and that's the reason why it's happening. It's for people that are pulling shit in over the airwaves. Quite honestly, that are getting TV for free still instead of paying for it like the rest of us idiots. It's okay, nothing special. I kind of figured. Excuse me. Yeah, The Walking Dead is still airing. It's never gonna die. Yeah, Mr. Robot's ending after its fourth, after this fourth season here, and yet they're going on to season 10. And really, they should have checked out around like season 3, 4. But hey, I was very tempted to check it out, but I'm resisting so far until we have it's worth. I don't think I'm going to be doing that one, Pen. I really don't. So you might just want to check it out on your own. I'm not really a big fan of um and from what I understand it's a police procedural anyway. God, excuse me. Thought the tea was going to help with that, but it's not. Yeah, it's a police procedural, so I'm really not into. Oh, Private Eye. Wasn't she a cop or something at one point? And yeah, that shows you how much. I just know it has something to do with law enforcement. And I was like, yeah, nah, 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 nah. That's how I feel about it, quite honestly. So, going to the main news here. So, of course, we found out that Spider-Man has been saved to the MCU. He's going to be in at least two more MCU related movies. So, one is going to be a one that's actually set in the MCU, and the third one is going to be the third Spider-Man movie is going to be also MCU related. After that, most likely Spider-Man is written out of the MCU unless they come to a new deal. Them being Sony and Disney. So Tom Holland, actually, it was just announced, was the reason why that last minute, the two more movie deals happened was because he called up both Disney and Sony CEOs and pleaded with them to get together and at least work something out. So the workout has been that Sony gets 75%, Disney gets 25%, and he's going to appear in two more MCU related movies. Well, it's also come out now because I mean it was also said that Kevin Feige is getting ready to write Spider-Man out of the MCU movies and all that stuff too. Now it's also come out that Tom Holland most likely will play two different Spider-Mans, one in the MCU universe and one in the Sony universe. So the Sony universe has already been set up with Venom. So with Venom being in that universe, they're going to bring Spider-Man in, I guess in Venom 2 is what's going to happen. And that is how they're going to get around this. So basically what they're doing is they're pulling it into the Spider-Verse, which is fine. I mean, if they do Into the Spider-Verse well, um but yeah, it's a live action essentially Into the Spider-Verse is what they're doing. So anyone heard of Seis Manos? No, I haven't. Six hands? Is that what that is? That sounds like a Henry Weinstein. No, never mind. Sorry. That was a too soon on that joke, huh? Oh, it's a Netflix animation series. I thought it was Harvey Weinstein's autobiography, Six Hands. I know. I'll be here all week as the room goes dead silent. Yeah. Um, with that said, I'm actually kind of interested to see how they're going to do this. If they are going to pull off different Spider-Mans in different universes, things like that, that would be interesting. But at the same time, I'm like, if it's if he's out of the Marvel universe, It really kind of takes the fun out of things. I mean, that's one of the things that's nice about Spidey in the Marvel comics is he does run in different circles. He does run with the Fantastic Four sometimes, with the X-Men at times, with Wolverine, with Deadpool, with Captain America, with the Avengers, things like that. He is not just on his own. He is on his own quite a bit, but he does run in these different circles, and it's actually fun watching this interaction. And if you could actually bring that into the live action movies as well, that is also a lot of fun. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, martial arts and monsters. All right. Let's see. What else do I got here? Yeah. So this one's probably gonna be a short one today. I mean, oh, and next week, by the way. So next week's Saturday morning blast off is gonna be a little bit later. It's probably gonna be a Saturday afternoon blast off because Comic Con and all their wisdom decided to do pre-sale tickets or I don't know, pre-registration tickets or something like that for next year's Comic Con. So I've got to, be up at my normal time anyway and get tickets for that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And then, of course, I got to recover from that because it's always, sitting here looking at the screen, screaming at it because, the circle of death is just twirling and twirling and twirling. And you're waiting to see how many tickets are left. And then, yeah, it's kind of a shitty time when you're doing that. Hey, movie Fanobi. So, what else I got here? So Stranger Things, big surprise, has been renewed for season 4 at Netflix. I know you're all really, really shocked by that. But the other thing is the Duffer Brothers have signed a 9-figure deal with Netflix as well. So that is a big thing, a big, big, big thing. And what does that mean? Them signing a 9-figure deal besides them getting more money? Is that it's a multi-year deal, a multi-year film and TV deal. So basically, anything that they develop is going to go to Netflix first. Is what's going to happen. So they better get cracking. Is what's going to happen there. Yeah. Um, I liked Stranger Things season 3. Season 3 was better than season 2. That's for sure. And so I'm interested to see where they're going to go with season 4. Well, I know where they're going with season 4 because they released the trailer for it. They're going to the upside down, you know, is where they're going. 9-figure, 9 action. Yeah, they're doing a 9-figure deal. That's right. 9 figures. I thought the next season was going to be the last pen. I don't know if that's the case or not this time around. Now with this new deal in place, who knows? Because I mean, both were announced at the same time. Basically, they got yeah, they probably got like $500 million, but it's over years. And they probably have to hit some milestones in order to hit all of that. So yeah, how many finger deal? Yeah, I don't know. That's actually a time thing, Mufinobi. It's 3 fingers past. Yeah. That's a Future Man reference for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. So Netflix needs more ammunition in its arsenal for the streaming. Yeah. So Netflix needs to up its game quite a bit, especially with what Disney Plus is bringing. And I mean, Apple TV Plus is just laughable. I'm sorry. I know everyone's going, oh my god, but they're going to get some good content. They've got some good people. No. Future Man is next year sometime. If nobody, they haven't announced it. Maybe they'll announce it at New York City Comic Con, which I doubt, but we'll find out. I know they have their final season, which will be next year. Then I'll start up my Hulu subscription again just to watch Future Man. Yeah. Well, the funny thing about that is too, so Hulu is owned majority by Disney right now. So they really have two streaming services. Um, and while yes, they do have Future Man on there, which is ending, they also are gonna have Marvel stuff on there, which is essentially um the animated series. They have four different animated series that are coming on, which is done by Marvel TV. And then they also have Runaways, which is on there. That's their other live action thing. And Ghost Driver got canceled, of course. But the only other live action thing on Hulu is supposed to be Hellstrom, which they are supposed to be doing as well. Although now with the news that's coming out that oh, and I know I have it on here. At least I thought I did. Maybe I knocked it off of my list of things here, but I did. Holy crap. Wow, I can't believe I actually did that. Luckily, it's stuck in my head anyway. So, Marvel TV or Marvel Studios, I should say, is taking over pretty much everything TV wise and all their, live action TV, I should say, because of the stuff they're doing. They want to tie it in with their movies, is what they want to do. Um, and what this means is that Marvel TV, which is run by Jeff Loeb and Ike Perlmutter, are only doing animated stuff now. That's it. And of course, Cloak and Dagger, uh, Runaways, and then supposedly Hellstrom. But don't be surprised if you hear that Hellstrom gets canceled because more than likely that's going to happen. And the reason why Ghost Driver got canceled is because Kevin Feige has movie plans for Ghost Rider and doesn't want the two being confused with a really shitty version of that they were going to do with Gabriel Luna. And I'm sorry, yes, they are going to do a really shitty version of it because it was under Jeff Loeb and Ike Perlmutter, the cheapest man in the universe. So they were talking about they being one of the movie sites was talking about how much is spent per season on episodes, and I believe they said for Netflix, the Netflix series, all the Netflix Marvel series in total for one season was like $80 million, I believe is what it was, and that is what Marvel Studios is going to be paying per season for their series, for one of their series. Like they're doing a movie budget for each season versus like Perlmutter, who decides to, do something really stupid like that and not spend any money. And of course, it makes sense, right? New Expanse teaser trailer dropped today. Also, some video. Okay. Yeah. No, I have not seen Big Mouth Viking Bitch. Uh, you you have talking animated penises in your head from today's binging. Isn't that just nah? Never mind. I was it was gonna be an easy joke on that one. I'm not gonna say it. So, um, yeah, I never got into Big Mouth. I've heard about it, and I just never got into it. Uh, yeah, of course, everyone's favorite curse word is motherfucker. It's one of my favorites. I like using different kind of variations on it, but yeah, don't get head pregnant. Uh, there's just way too many jokes on that one too. Um, oh, yeah, that's a timeout for you, Movie Fanobi, on that one, especially for that joke. So back to the news. So yeah, so Marvel Studios is taking over the TV, the live action TV stuff. Marvel TV is only going to be doing animated stuff, and they're two little stupid shows they got going on right now that really suck. Runaways just actually posted their teaser trailer for the new season, and it's like, yeah, I didn't bother watching the second season. I'm not watching the third, so yeah, I'm off on that one. So what else we got here? Um, of course, you probably heard, but February 7th, the Birds of Prey movie opens up, and they had a new trailer for it. And good God, was that thing just a mess? I mean, just a total mess. I hope the movie is actually somewhat good. I like Margot Robbie in the role, quite honestly, and she's good. But if it's going to be just about her and only her, the thing that worked about it in Suicide Squad was that she wasn't the focus of the movie. Unfortunately, Will Smith's character was the focus of the movie because it's Will Smith, and that hurt that movie. And that's why she became the best thing in it, because there wasn't a lot of her in it, but what little there was of her in it was actually really good. So I have a feeling that it's going to suffer from overexposure of her on there. And I'm not talking about nudity. Caleb Richardson says Cloak and Dagger is pretty good. It's a little heavy-handed with social. No, good God, Caleb. I'm sorry. I'm the wrong age group for that, Caleb. I am way past my 20s. And yeah, it no. And speaking of someone who is a fan of Cloak and Dagger, the comic, nowhere near the comic at all. The comic is light years away from wherever that show is doing. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm hoping Birds of Prey is good, but uh, and then the other thing that kind of pissed me off about the trailer was Ewan McGregor is supposed to be playing Black Mask. It's a character called Black Mask. Now, the reason why the character is called Black Mask because he wears a black mask that covers his entire fucking head. What do you see in the trailer? You don't see any black mask at all. You see him without a mask, and I'm like, okay, this is the whole Judge Dredd thing all over again. And it's yeah, you get a well-known actor who doesn't want to have their face covered up. Okay, if you want to do that, then hire somebody who isn't well known and put them in the black mask. Don't hire a well-known actor. So yeah. But again, like I said, it looks like a mess. It really does. From this trailer. I'm hoping that there's a better trailer out there before. I mean, we've got a while yet. It's February 7th that comes out. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Yeah. Now, let's see. Also, around the same time, well, actually, the week later, February 14th, The King's Man opens in theaters. Now, what this is a prequel to the Kingsman series, which is Matthew Vaughn directing, of course, Mark Millar's comic book that he had done called The Secret Service that got turned into the Kingsman or Kingsman. Um, Now the thing that kind of makes me confused about this one is it takes place during World War One, and they're saying this is when the Kingsmen came into being, is during World War One, is what the movie is saying. But in the movies that came before it, they were saying that it didn't happen. I mean, that the Kingsmen came about in the 1700s, 1800s, and they actually kind of coincided with the Statesman, which is the US version of it, which happened in the 1800s, and that's when they kind of split off. So they were supposed to have, and so unless they didn't become like really visibly active until World War One, maybe that's where it is. I don't know. I disagree with you, Stanley. Without you're saying without Eggsy, it's not going to be the same. I think it's actually going to be good. The trailer was really good. I looked at the trailer and yeah, Rasputin is a villain. Yes. Uh, Again, that old chestnut of you know, dusting that off as Rasputin as a villain. There were a lot of other really evil people at that during that time period that you can pick without having to do Rasputin, quite honestly. So, yeah, I like Ralph Fiennes as well. And the nice thing about it was that he and Matthew Vaughn were talking about superheroes, and you need to make sure that your superheroes are human and accessible, kind of thing. They were doing a little Q&A, and that was one of the things I was like, yeah, that's actually a good message. That's a good message to filmmakers. You want to make your superheroes accessible to people. You want them to be human. There's a reason for that. And what if your superhero is not human? You can still do it, or you can still make them likable, Mr. Roboto, and you can give them human-like qualities, and you can make them relatable. There is ways of doing that. Yeah, you can do it. Look at what was it? Pixar's um, movie with a robot. Now I can't remember what it is. I've got it in the back here in the DVD collection, but I can't remember what the fuck it is. But that one, they made that little robot pretty human. Wally, thank you, Stanley. Like I said, Saturday morning, I don't remember shit anymore. But Wally had a lot of human characteristics. That was anthropomorphizing. That's right. I sometimes emulate human feelings and things like that, movie Fanobi. Maybe not to you, but sometimes to others. But that was the 90s. Well, that was the 90s, Mr. Roboto. That was 2000s. Yeah. And Wally was emoted very well. I agree. But no, I agree with them. I mean, you need to make your heroes accessible. You can't have them. Well, that was the thing that hurt Brandon Routh's Superman, quite honestly, is because well, that was one of the things. There was a lot of things that hurt that character. Bryan Singer made him too much of a Christ-like figure and above everything, and also put him in the Christ-like pose way too fucking much. And that's what hurt that character. And if you go back and read like Straczynski's run, his much maligned run on Superman, he did a really good job of actually bringing Superman back down to a human aspect, and that was actually kind of cool. The Punisher can be a hero, Mr. Roboto, in a way. I was actually just watching Punisher Warzone last night because it was happened to be on the cable channels there. And granted, it's a shitty movie, but they did the Punisher fairly well in that one. I mean, as a sympathetic person, I mean, he's killing just gangsters. That's all he's doing is killing gangsters. But there's a reason behind it. And I'm not going to get into semantics with you, Mr. Roboto. If you want to argue with that, you can go elsewhere and find other channels that do that. So I'm going to be talking about the news and I'm going to move on from that. So let's see here. We've also got December 13th, which is the same day as the Expanse premiere. Michael Bay's Six Underground drops on Netflix. So it's a Netflix movie from Michael Bay starring Ryan Reynolds. And it's supposed to be about six billionaires who fake their own deaths and they end up fighting crime. Yeah, that's what Michael Bay's idea is that these six billionaires fake their own deaths and go out and start fighting crime. So, yeah. Uh, I don't know what to say, what to think of it, quite honestly. I watched the trailer like 2 times and I'm just like, I see a lot of explosions. I see a lot of gimmicky stuff going on in it. And um, I don't know. I'll probably watch it most likely because Ryan Reynolds is in it. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is actually pretty damn funny. So yeah, That's probably my main reason for watching it, not because it's Michael Bay. Michael Bay stuff, it's hit and miss, quite honestly, for me. But, yeah. Yes, I did review Love, Death, and Robots, Mr. Roboto. Yeah. It's too Michael Bay, but it looked more like an architectural documentary with yeah, it did. That I agree with you, Mufinobi. There was a lot of pretty shots of buildings and boats, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" You know? And, Ryan Reynolds was trying in this one. You could tell it's gonna be a typical Netflix movie. I don't even know if it was The Losers, to tell you the truth, Mufinobi. It was just kinda weird. Um I didn't see an American flag fluttering in the background, which was kind of funny in slow motion. Usually it does that behind one of the characters. You get an American flag flapping in the background as they do some kind of, patriotic speech. But I'm sure it's in there because it is Michael Bay. It's in every single one of his movies. If you go in and watch his movies, they're there. I believe it's even in The Island at some point. You're waiting for Detective Pikachu too. Nice. The Losers is an okay movie, Stanley. It really isn't. And it's based on a DC comic as well. Go back and watch it again. It's actually not bad. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. It gets a lot of unlove, but it deserves a little bit of love. Speaking of something that deserves a little bit of love, Ava DuVernay, who of course is doing the DC, oh god, the New Gods movie is what she's doing. She's also going to be working on her production company, I should say, is working with HBO Max to bring the DC comic DMZ to the small screen, with Ava directing the first episode. Now you're probably saying, what the fuck is DMZ? So DMZ is a comic that premiered in the, I believe, late 90s to early 2000s, and it takes place after an American Civil War, or during an American Civil War, I should say. And Brian Wood is the comic writer for this one. It was done in Vertigo, the Vertigo comics, which no longer exist. R.I.P. Vertigo comics. And it says the original DMZ takes place in a nation torn apart by the uneasy detente between the remains of the federal government and the secessionist Free State armies. And this took place in 2005, 2012 is when this comic took place. So the news story is, I should say that the comic also centered around a sparsely populated demilitarized zone that was once Manhattan. I don't know where okay, so they say in here the Patino Pen adaptation is said to center on a female medic on the island who is trying day in and day out to help residents stay alive while also trying to find her lost son. In the process, that determined medic proves to as a source of hope in an America that has lost all sense of the idea. How is that going to play? Your guess is as good as mine on that. I know the comic was popular. I know the comic was popular. I never read it myself, to tell you the truth. Yes, they did explain why the Civil War was started, I believe, and throughout the comic, they do it. It's not just kind of like, oh, we've always been in this state of war. No, there's a reason for it. So how they're going to do that in the TV series, don't know. But it's going through HBO Max. So again, it's another streaming service that is trying to shore up their defenses against Disney Plus, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, My Dogs Plus, Peacock Plus. Who else has a streaming service coming out? Does BET have a streaming service coming out? How about Telemundo? Does Telemundo have a streaming service coming out yet? I'd pay to see the Telemundo one. Oh, that's right. They have Epix as well, the Sony streaming service. Oh, that's right. BET does have BET Plus. I forgot about that. They do. Thank you, Movie for Now. I knew I saw it recently. That's why it was stuck in my head. Yeah. I swear to God, every fucking channel's got a damn streaming service now, and they really don't need it. It's like, yeah, I understand cable's dead and people are leaving it in droves. But if you actually allowed us to choose what channels that we want, the a la carte thing, which has there's a lawsuit going on right now that it's hitting the courts, and more and more states are adding to it to sue cable companies to allow people to choose the channels that they want and pay for just those. And the cable companies are fighting it tooth and nail right now. But I believe it's up to I think it's 23 states right now that have joined this thing, or maybe it's up to 30 now. 30 states that have joined this lawsuit. Because yeah, I mean, once that happens, if you end up allowing everyone to do a la carte and you can choose the channels that you want, then cable will come back again. It'll be in a limited format, but I think everyone will be paying. The streaming service stuff will even itself out. Hey, Dante S. Will HBO Max replace all the other HBO X, Y, and Z? No. So supposedly HBO Go, or is that what it's called? The HBO only channel is going to stay as it is. HBO Max is supposed to be the one that has whatever DirecTV Now substitute thing they've got in there, plus HBO, plus something else. I can't remember what it is. I think I want to say it was three things. I can't remember offhand. Yeah. So HBO Go is still going to be there, but HBO Max will have its own separate content that is only available on HBO Max to its subscribers. Ah, yeah, yeah. There was at least HBO Now and HBO Go. Yeah. Uh, we all need to be able to choose so we can choose not to buy 12,000 subscriptions. Exactly. Do I have a PO box to send pop figures to? No, I don't, Mr. Roboto. I don't need any more pop figures, please. No. Thank you. Thank you, though, Mr. Roboto. I don't need any more. I've got an entire cabinet back in the other room that has nothing but Funko Pop figures in there, which more than likely will be giveaways at some point in time. Some of them will be. Yeah. Because they're just taking over way too much stuff. Oh, what else do I got here? So William Hurt is supposedly on set right now of the Black Widow movie, and he's reprised his role as General Thunderbolt Ross. And this movie, of course, takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, if I remember correctly. Is that right? Civil War and Infinity War, yeah. For the Avengers, that's where the Black Widow movie takes place. And the rumor is that William Hurt is there because Marvel is going to be doing a Thunderbolts movie. Now, if you don't know what Thunderbolts is essentially the Marvel version of Suicide Squad, where they've taken Marvel villains and they force them to do, you know, good stuff for the military. So yeah, it's interesting. And the thing was, it was all headed by Norman Osborn too at one point, the Green Goblin. So shit went sideways, shall we say. But do you really think they would introduce Red Hulk with She-Hulk or just keep him as a current character? That's a good question, quite honestly. I mean, William Hurt's a big actor. To have him keep coming back, I'm sure they're going to introduce the Red Hulk at some point in time. They're probably going to have to. That's if the Hulk ever gets his own movie, because right now the Hulk is, I believe, tied up with Universal in the rights, something like that, or maybe it's coming back. No, Dante, yes, I'm not reviewing The Taxi Driver, King of Comedy. If you wanna, a lot of other channels are reviewing it, and quite honestly, it's not a comic book movie. At least that's what Todd Phillips says. So, my video just dropped? Really? Oh, there we go. I'm back. How's that? Yeah. And falling down, exactly, Stanley Tweedle. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's YouTube for you, Mufinobi. It happens all the time. And yeah, I don't think they're doing a standalone Hulk movie either right now. Yeah. It didn't show me dropping or anything like that. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Maybe something happened on YouTube's end, which does happen from time to time. Yeah. The critics are not happy with the Joker. There's so much controversy. So okay, let's talk about Joker for a second here. So it's essentially an old Martin Scorsese movie that's been redone with comic book paint to it. So Todd Phillips essentially says that he can't make comedies anymore because everyone's too woke and he can't make jokes about Asians and all that kind of stuff anymore because no one, everyone will backlash against him. There's a reason for that. Those things were racist even back then. Got it. Basically, your shit's not funny anymore, Todd. That's pretty much what it is. That's really what it is. Scorsese even took a hit at comic book movies, saying that they're not art, that they are akin to what did he put it? Basically, like rides at an amusement park is what he says. They're great engineering, but nothing more than that. They're not art. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's great, Marty. You've done some good movies, but you've also done some shitty movies too in between. And I'm like, okay, um, that's your opinion, man. That's great. But not everyone wants to see, the casino redone like 4 or 5 times, or Taxi Driver done 4 or 5 times, or you know, no one wants to see that all the time. And yeah, exactly, Viking bitch. Just making racist statements that are not jokes. Uh, so the whole thing with if you go back and look at The Hangover has a lot of racist jokes in it too. And yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, Ken Jeong pokes fun at himself in it, uh, but he is doing a stereotype, is what he's doing, and that stereotype covers 3 movies. Yeah. And I'm saying this as a white person, man, and I'm seeing this. And, yeah, that's all I can say on that one. Yeah, I understand. Phillips is a good filmmaker. He is, as Martin Scorsese said, he's a good engineer, and he can cobble together something and ape other people's stuff quite well. But I think he needs to actually feel something inside of him in order to make a movie personal and make a good movie. Make a great movie, I should say. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'm not gonna go and see it. It's nothing that I need to go and see because I've already seen it before, and I'll wait till it comes out on cable. And it's gonna come out on cable in the next 3 months or so anyway. So it's not that big of a deal and not that long of a wait. So that's the nice thing about movies now is you don't need to see them in the movie theater anymore. I hate to say that, yes. I used to be the biggest proponent of seeing movies in the theater, but considering all the shitty stuff now that studios do to you, um, I can wait. Quite honestly, I can wait till it comes out on the small screen, or comes out on video on demand, or comes out on DVD. And the DVDs, excuse me, like cheaper than going to the movie theaters. Quite honestly, for one ticket, you know? When you're having to pay upwards of $20 a ticket, which is where it's going anyway, and you can get the DVD for, 17, 18 bucks when it first comes out, then you can watch it at home in the same, in your underwear or less, in surround sound on a big screen TV and all that kind of stuff, then why bother? Yeah, I understand movie for there's people that have the subscription services too that go out there to go and see a movie, but uh yeah, I've gotten really kind of movie theater leery lately, just because of the amount of asshats that are in theaters. I don't think I've been in a movie, my last couple of movies, where someone hasn't done something stupid, and I'm talking about the audiences, like taking pictures of a fucking screen with a flash in a movie theater. What the hell? Or talking, or doing anything but watching the movie. And quite honestly, that ruins a movie experience for me, as well as, some movies not being up to snuff. Viking Bitch says, I haven't seen it, but I thought it would have been better to have a crazy person think that he's turning into the Joker with everyone knowing this is a fiction character. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Viking Bitch. That would be awesome. But no, they had to. Yeah, I know. Why in the fuck would you take a picture in the movie? That was my point too. I actually looked at the guy and I turned around. I went, "What the fuck?" And he just kind of looked at me and he kept his camera out. And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I know Mr. Roboto, that movie theaters are public experiences, but not all public experiences are good experiences." Oh, I understand movie fandom. There's some movies I will go to with a crowd, but then I will go to like the expensive theater, the one where I know there aren't going to be dumb shits taking pictures and talking and doing all and that people that are there that are actually for the movie. And then I'm very, very selective on those movies now. Yeah. Are strangers roaming through your house? No. Sometimes at home, the experience isn't quite the same. Worried about the sound, who's roaming through. Yeah, who in the fuck would be roaming through your house, Mufinobi? Do you have like stray stampedes or something like that that happen in your house? Or is your house open to the environment? Because then it's not a house, it's called outside, if that's the case. Yes, I am gonna get the Titans type security system where someone rings the doorbell. Every fucking person who rings the doorbell, and I don't know if it's a joke that they did this in Titans or not for DC Universe, but every single person who rings the doorbell in Titans Tower gets identified as an intruder, and it makes me laugh. Hey, Anthony Greenslade. People that have families chuckle fuck. Neighbors banging on their doors, people that live in your house. Oh, okay. See, Mufinobi, you just made it seem like there's some random people going through your house, or that it was open to the environment. So, I mean, like I said, if it's open to the environment, it's not a house. It's called a lean-to or a gazebo, one of the two. Uh, plus there might be ghosts. I don't live in a cabin in the woods. Oh man. So what else I got here? So I talked about the Thunderbolts movie. Oh yeah, so November 29th, we got the announcement that the animated Harley Quinn premieres on DC Universe. So this is the R-rated swearing animated Harley Quinn that Cuoco is voicing, and kind of interested to see how this is going to go. To tell you the truth, so we finally got a premiere date, November 29th. Originally, they said it was supposed to be mid-October, but I guess they're waiting for Titans to finish, and then they're gonna do that one, which is good. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I know Universal owns the Hulk rights still. That's why I alluded to movie Finobi, and I kind of figured they weren't going to do a solo until they got those rights back, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. If they follow the Sony model. And yeah, I agree with you, movie Finobi. I think that Kaylee Cuoco will be good for the role. Her voice sounds pretty good. I mean, they got Kevin Conroy to do Batman, which I thought was pretty damn good. You know, it was funny, and they play well off of each other. And I want to see how it goes. I mean, there's blood involved in this. There is swearing. I'm up for that, quite honestly. Yeah. They asked me to work for overtime, but I refused tonight. Good for you, Anthony. Sometimes you just gotta tell them no. No, do not touch me. I mean, no, I will not work overtime for you. Yeah, I'll be here all week. So, what else we got here? His Dark Materials is premiering on HBO on November 4th. Now, with those of you who have a calendar, you'll know that November 4th is a Monday. A Monday. So that begs the question, do I do coverage of this one? His Dark Materials. I know it's based on the Golden Compass. What is like a third time they're doing the Golden Compass or something like that? Um, so yeah, I don't know. Should I do this one or not? Is anyone you're a fan of the Dark Materials books? Okay, I'll give it a shot. I can do the four episode rule and see if that's going to be the case or not. I'm looking for a show to fill the void of shows. Well, there's not a void of shows, I should say. There's a shitload of shows that are out there right now. Um, we'll see how it goes with the Mr. Robot Watchmen battle that's happening on Sundays, because that one's going to be interesting. I'm thinking I might end up doing that one if Mr. Robot pans out all right, keeping that as the lead story or the lead. Well, actually, I'll probably do the Watchmen show first and then do the Mr. Robot one. I don't know. I'll think about it. So you had to change the batteries of your neighbor. Does your neighbor runs on batteries? They should get solar. Then they don't have to have you come over and, change out all the time. I'm sorry. It was a bad, bad, bad joke. Yeah, I know. And it's not Watchmen, it's HBO. Yeah. It's Damon Lindelof is what it is. So I guess Damon Lindelof now has to I guess there were some questions that he had to field at New York City Comic Con about a white savior thing. And yeah, he's like, I'm not a white savior. Yeah, we already know that, man. We've seen your movies, they suck. Um, do they make real dolls solar? uh, that's a good question, Viking bitch. That's one for the ages. Let's see. So yeah, so his Dark Materials on November 4th. Sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. So, and speaking of DC Universe, it was in the same panel, I guess. They announced Bizarro TV is coming to DC Universe in 2020. Now, what the fuck is Bizarro TV? It looks actually amazing. It's an anthology series that focuses on the D-list DC characters. So this is like your Detective Chimp, uh, Ambush Bug, things like that. And each episode is going to be set in a different medium, most likely. So you have some that are animated, some that are collage, I guess, some that are live action, things like that. And I'm guessing Bizarro Superman is going to be the guest or the host of this show kind of like the Crypt Keeper used to be, all that kind of stuff. And I'm liking it. I mean, someone actually pointed this out in one of the articles. They say the more that DC Universe leans into the weirdness of their titles, the better the shows are. Doom Patrol is a perfect example of leaning into the weirdness and just knocking it out of the park. Swamp Thing as well. If Titans would just lean into the bizarreness of some of their stuff, they do have some bizarre characters in there, which would be awesome. Stargirl needs to do the same thing. We already know that Harley Quinn will most likely lean into the bizarre shit, but Bizarro TV sounds like it's perfect. Yes, Bizarro is the Superman duplicate, Stanley. That's what I'm saying. He's supposed to be the host of the show, most likely. That's what they're doing that. And better shows, less popularity. They want money. Uh, I don't know, Movie Fanobi. I think they're trying to go by the route of not using their A-listers in these shows, and they're going, okay, well, what can we do? And then they're looking at Marvel, what Marvel did, and they like, okay, if you remember back 10 years ago when they started this journey with Iron Man was not popular. Iron Man was a bottom of the list. Sure, there are people that read the comics and whatnot, but it wasn't like a hugely popular comic, and that was what they had to work with. And I remember them saying, they being Kevin Feige and John Favreau, in one of their it was in the 10-year anniversary thing. They said that if the Iron Man movie didn't work, they were pretty much dead. Marvel Studios was dead in the water. And they hit a huge home run with that thing. And from then on, they just started using their minor characters in these movies and started building up the Marvel universe to where we are today. So, uh, and I think that's what DC is looking at. DC is looking at that and going, "Hey, we've got a shit ton of these minor characters that we could use and maybe do something really, really well. Build up our D-listers, our C-listers, and make it into something big." Oh yeah, Zack Snyder was the really horrible choice on that one, Stanley Twill. I agree with you. That was something that DC shouldn't have done. What are you doing, little one? Sorry, my dog just decided to freak out about something by the door. And um, yeah, WB has made some really bad choices, like merging with AT&T. And I have not seen Raising Dion yet on Netflix, Stanley. That is on my list to see, based on a comic book. It is produced by Michael B. Jordan. He's also in it. And I'm interested to see how it is. Yeah. It most likely will be a topic of, is it worth my time? There we go. How weird is too weird for DC Comics, Mr. Roboto? I don't know. I don't think they've hit that yet, to tell you the truth. Take a look at some of the 80s Swamp Thing. Look at Animal Man from the 90s. There's no such thing as too weird for them. Yeah. Captain America and Thor were not B-list. No, they weren't, but they came in much later. Maybe Finobi. This is when they were building the Avengers Initiative, of course. So that was supposed to be a throwaway line at the very end of the first Iron Man movie, is having them come in and saying, "Oh, we're building the Avengers Initiative," and it wasn't supposed to be anything big. They just kind of threw it out there, and yeah, it happened to catch on, and they're like, "Oh shit, now we need to do this." Yeah. So yes, weird is good for DC Universe. That is what they need to do, and that's what they need to stick with. And I'm all for that. So kind of my last topic here. And actually it's not bad. So the John Wick creator Derek Kolstad, he's been hired on by Sony to adapt the books A Darker Shade of Magic to a script. Now, for those of you who don't know what the books are, so we have it's supposed to be a world, so four different worlds. One where magic doesn't exist. One world where magic does exist, but it's used sparsely. One where a world has been destroyed completely by magic, and then I forget what the fourth world is. And that's what they're trying to make into a new trilogy of movies. And I can see, Derek is actually fairly good at world building. I mean, look what he did with John Wick. And he's written all the three John Wick movies. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this. It sounds interesting, and I'll go and watch it. Yeah, I mean, if weirdos like Mufino can find love, pretty much anybody can. Do you believe in magic? 'Cause I got the make and the magic. Okay, I don't want to know what you're doing with your magic stick there, Mr. Roboto. Keep it in your pants. Um, Anthony Greenslade says, "I love Doom Patrol with Mr. Nobody narrating." Yeah, Alan Tudyk as Mr. Nobody was just genius. Really, he was. Yeah. I just got Doom Patrol on disc. Nice. Yeah, I just bought yeah, it's within reach too. Look at that. I just bought John Wick 3 myself Parabellum. Not as good as the first two, but you know, I'll keep it in there with the trilogy. I like me the John Wick movies. There's a great scene in John Wick where he is in a gun museum and he is taking apart like old west guns and putting together one himself because he has a bullet that won't work in a certain gun. So he actually it shows you how modular the guns were back then. And he's actually just taking them apart and then he builds his own gun essentially so he can kill one person. And that is actually a scene that's an homage to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And that was kind of cool that they did that. And that's what I like about those movies is you actually have some callbacks to other movies, and not only that, they just have some really good action in it. Yeah. They can take my digital, but they can't take my discs. That's right. Yeah, I just signed up, for the digital version of this one, and it's lost someplace down the ether. I don't know where it's at. I mean, I can't watch it. I've gotta use my disc in order to watch it now. I'm just pissed about that. Lionsgate, forced me to download their stupid app so I can get the digital version. Then they asked me where I wanted it at, did that, and now of course it doesn't sync to anything. So yeah. Still haven't seen John Wick, waiting for the right time to watch them back to back. Now's the time to watch it, Anthony. Now's the time to watch it. It's some really good action stuff. So the director is actually a stunt man. He's been around since well, actually Brandon Lee was the one who brought him into the stunt world, and he was Brandon Lee's double after he died because they used to work out together and all of this. The director for the movie, and he ended up getting into movies that way, and so he started directing this movie. Derek Kolstad, who wrote the script for it, that was his first script ever that he did, and it was a huge, I mean, really good script, and it world builds so well that you have all these different ways you can go. I mean, it created a world that really has a lot of possibilities to it, which is what they're doing. They are doing a lot of possibilities for it. Yes, Mr. Roboto, supposedly Constantine, the Reeves Constantine is part of the DC universe. Well, the DC universe, they've always said there's different worlds. So it can be that's kind of a loaded question. Is it part of the DC universe? Yes, it is, depending on what world you're on. Extended Blu-ray. Uh, what do you mean for the John Wick movies? Yeah, I would just, you can get them. They're pretty. I think they actually have a pack right now for the John Wick movies. Yeah, do it that way. Christopher Reeves, Constantine. No, because he'd be in a wheelchair at that point. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. So that was my last thing that I had on my list of things. Excuse me. Oh, like I said, next week, Saturday morning blast off is going to be a Saturday afternoon blast off. Let's see what I got going on. Tomorrow is Mr. Robot. That's right. It's the season 4 premiere of Mr. Robot, the last season of Mr. Robot, shall I say. And Monday I'm off. Tuesday is it worth my time? And that's going to be the new Gennady Tartakovsky series Primal, which I know just dropped actually on Adult Swim's website. So I'm going to do that. Let's see what else I got going on. Wednesday I'm off again, and then Thursday is going to be a new segment called Feelings in Hallways, where I'm going to talk about all the CWDC shows. Friday, of course, is Titans season 2. Going to continue with that, and then we wrap back around to Saturday afternoon blast off. Yeah. Is it warm where I am, Mr. Roboto? Yeah, it's okay. It's nice. What was the last thing you watched, Dennis, that you haven't covered on YouTube? I was watching the old Batman 66 stuff on IFC last night because they did a great thing where they said the real Joker takes over IFC for the night. And they had nothing but Cesar Romero Joker episodes from the old Adam West Batman. That's what I was watching last night. And that was just a lot of fun. I mean, that was just a ton of fun. The stuff that, yeah, I mean, quite honestly, the stuff they used to do in the 60s for that show were just mind-boggling, stupid, but also funny at the same time. Yeah, I happened to stumble across it, Penn. I just happened to look over and I saw Batman's on. Huh, they're doing a marathon. I turned it on, and then they happened to say that, you know, it was the real Joker marathon. Yeah. And a come visit Georgia PSA. What was that? Funny bitch. Movie Finobi, is there some unaired scenes? There's some unaired scenes in a gag reel. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, DC's first mustache. That's right. So Cesar Romero famously would not shave his mustache off to play the Joker. And he goes, you can just paint over it. And as they did, they painted over his mustache. And you can't really see it unless you really look at it. If you're looking on a big screen TV, sure you can see it, but you still have to kind of look at it to see it. They did a good job of covering it up. And his stunt double looks nothing like him. It's the funniest thing. So when they cut off to, show them fighting and all that stuff, and you can see it's Adam West and Burt Ward that are doing some of their own stunts. And but Cesar Romero, because he was an old guy by that point, they switch it out to this other guy who they've got a Joker mask on him, and it's pretty bad. What was the show that you said you couldn't review because it'd be less than 10 minutes? That would be the Good Place. The Good Place is a great show, but I just really can't cover it. There's no way I could do it, and that's also started up too. Yeah. Uh, there is no gag reel. Uh, on old on old TVs, the white stash probably didn't show. Yeah, it didn't. So that would be Fanobi's answer. Yeah. Um. No, well, I answered Fanobi's question. I told him it was Batman. I haven't talked about Batman 66 on anything, so yeah. Oh my god, yeah, I can see how that would be. I don't know. See you, Mr. Roboto. Have fun at work. Yeah. Is it worth our time? Uh Stanley, everything cannot be worth your time. It depends on you, quite honestly. Is what it comes down to. Oh, why not do some reviews on old school films like Batman? Quite honestly, Anthony, because there's so much stuff coming out that it'd be hard for me to keep up and do those at the same time. I mean, I just had those on in the background, to relax. I actually fell asleep like 2 episodes in, and I was out. Yeah. And it was kind of funny because Pepper looked at me, and she was asleep on the couch, and she got up and stretched, and she kind of looked at me, and I'm like, go inside to the bedroom. I'll be in a little bit. And she's like, all right. She just walked inside and jumped up on the bed and fell asleep. And I, of course, fell asleep out in the living room. I will be watching Raising Dion. Yes. Maybe for nobody. Not right now, but at some point I will. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of like an old couple, Stanley. She understands stuff. She's actually staring at me right now. She's laying on the couch and she's just staring at me. She's waiting for the headphones to come off, is really what it is. She knows when the headphones come off, like when I say goodbye or good night or something like that. She knows what the inflection is what it is. And when I take off the headphones and then she comes over and bothers me. Like right now, she won't bother me at all. She's just looking very dejected. Like, what the fuck? No, she did not come back to get me, Movie Fanobi. All she does is she kind of looks over at me, and I told her to go into the bedroom, and uh yeah. And so she just walked, she went, okay, whatever, and walked into the bedroom and went to sleep. Of course, laying on my side. She has her own side of the bed, yes. It's more than you wanted to know, but yes. She's a small dog, but she surprisingly takes up a lot of space. Yeah. Yeah, she is very judgmental on things. She also she knows she tries to herd me towards the car to take her for car rides and things like that. Yeah, because she likes that too. She has her own little cues. I swear she's trying to get comfortable. She does it so that her head is raised up on the pillow. That is what she'll do. And she'll also take the blanket if she, is cold, and she'll kind of fluff up the blanket a little bit kind of thing so that she can get warm. She's, like I said, a strange dog, a very, very strange dog. Yeah, I don't have people roaming through my house because I have doors moving for Nobi. I don't live in the outdoors. But yes, I am thinking about getting the Titans alarm system. That's pretty much anybody that rings the doorbell. Intruder alert! Intruder alert! 'Cause damn, man. I mean, it's got to be a joke. It really has to be a joke. I mean, last season was all dick jokes, and this one has to be the everyone that comes to the fucking front door is an intruder, except for most likely the villains. You're probably gonna have Deathstroke at some point break into the Titans tower, and nothing's gonna happen. Like no alarms are gonna go off or anything like that. I'm fairly sure that's gonna be one of the jokes in there. Yeah. Oh, her little boyfriend, or she's the other woman. He tried peeing on her yesterday, of course, through his gate, that kind of thing. Yeah, that was that's what he does. They bark at each other and whatnot, and she kind of rushes forward, and then they rush back, and then they put their left leg in, they put their left leg out. They put their left leg in, they shake it all about. Well, when Sasha trips the intruder alarm, Pepper goes nuts. That's all. That's the intruder alarm right there. Yeah, Pepper can do better. She's a very picky dog. So, with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see a video pop up here. It's going basically it being the YouTube algorithm is going to look at all the stuff you've been watching and then pluck a video out of my vast video library and pop it right up there for you. Up here is going to be a video from last night, which was Titans. I don't remember where I was. Bleh. Titans. That's what's going to pop up there. Excuse me. Tomorrow is going to be Mr. Robot, the season premiere of Mr. Robot. Monday, I'm off. Tuesday, is it worth my time? Primal. Wednesday, I'm off. Thursday is Feelings in Hallways, where the CW shows are going to happen. And then, of course, Titans on Friday, and all the way back around again to Saturday morning blast off, which is happening in the afternoon. I challenge you to watch at least 9 minutes and 35 seconds of this. Actually, it's gone down quite a bit, Stanley. I wish everyone would watch at least 9 minutes and 35 seconds of this. So, with that said, thank you everyone who joined me tonight or today in the chat, I should say, and thank you if you made it this far in the video, because that's awesome. And until next time, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up finding out that you're playing the same character in multiple movies, but they're really not the same character because they're from different universes. But that's going to all make sense in the end, I think. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.